Baseball Night in America on Fox. Chris Bryant and the NL Central leading Cubs hosting the Cardinals in a doubleheader. We'll show you the second game, and there's the All-Star MVP, Alex Bregman, and the Astros, the defending World Series champs, with Justin Verlander on the mound to take on the Angels here in Southern California. The pregame show brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. And live from Angel Stadium on the field, soaking up the atmosphere and the heat with Nick Swisher, Chris Myers, A.J. Hinch of the Astros. Again, congratulations. Nice to have you here. And the 100-game mark, you've already won 65 games coming off your World Series win through your critiquing manager's eye. A.J., how do you assess your team?
You know what? We're in a good place. I mean, we feel like with our offense, our defense, our starting rotation, you're seeing one of our best tonight. We feel like we have a chance to win every night. We've avoided the whole hangover conversation up to this point. We're doing the best we can to win as many games as we can. The Mariners on our tail. The A's are coming on strong. The American League is a battle of the giants. I like our team.
Well, I feel like I'm losing my marbles. Last week I got to talk to your good friend and Doc Roberts. I mean, and you, two of the best managers in our game. And for somebody like me, I genuinely want to know. 2013, Astros lose 100 games. 2014, another losing season. You come over in 15 and change the culture. As somebody that wants to be like you and wants to do what you do, what's the secret?
You know, well, good players help. I mean, those guys in our dugout help. And Jeff Luhnow, the front office with the Astros, we're building this as I got here. The change the mindset to go from development to winning happened in 15. We got to taste it a little bit, got punched in the gut a little bit in 16, and then 17 won the World Series. So belief has to precede success. We had to believe that we could be that team. We built this team from the ground up. Jeff did a great job. We've sort of the secret sauce in the dugout is a little bit of belief, a little bit of the guys buying in. We got one of the best cultures in baseball. Every manager that's winning will say that.
Exactly.
I'll take ours over anybody's.
And you said you like your team, but you traded for Verlander last year. Is there a deal to be made before the deadline this time around?
You know, maybe, but it's always hard when you're in the manager's seat. You know, we got 25 guys that are suiting up tonight, and we got one guy at home in Carlos Correa who we can't wait to get back. That might be the biggest deadline deal, so to speak, is when we get him back playing shortstop again. If there's something out there that Jeff feels like we can get better, we'll get better. If not, we'll take our guys and go to battle. This team's very seasoned. We're very experienced. We got some youthful energy to us. I think we got to focus on who's here and who's not, than who's not here.
Well, thanks for spending a moment. By the way, this doesn't count as a mound visit. You'll be happy.
That's right. I got my mound visits left. That's good.
You got your work to do. Thanks, AJ. Good luck the rest of the way.
You got it.
All right, always a pleasure seeing the manager of the Astros. Let's check on some other action earlier today. Coming up, you'll see the Angels and Astros, most of you, on Baseball Night in America. The Yankees and the Mets, the Subway Series. Aaron Judge with his 26th home run of the season, making it a 6-3 game in the 7th inning. But things tightened up in the 9th inning. Aroldis Chapman 7-3 at this point, but he walks Jose Reyes on 4 pitches. Plawecki scores, and then Chapman with Brandon Nimmo at the plate.
97 off the arm.
Yeah, brings in another run. They took him out after he gave up 3 runs, didn't record an out. The Mets within a run, but at the end, Wilmer Flores grounds out. The Yankees win.
I'm telling you what, man, to put Chasen Shreve in that position right there and for him to succeed is a confidence booster for him. Hey, man, I'm telling you, this bullpen, that's not going to happen very often.
Sonny Gray got the win. Cardinals-Cubs, this is game 1. Matt Carpenter with a home run to tie. Remember, he went 5 for 5 with a couple of doubles on Friday. You'll see game 2 coming up, most of you, on Baseball Night in America from Chicago. Yadier Molina, but there's Javier Baez to throw him out.
I mean, we see him at second base, we see him at third base, we see him at short. A little double pump right there, maybe traveling in basketball, but he makes that good, strong throw, man, gets the out on his boy Molina.
And Baez also delivering at the plate. This will be down the line for an RBI double. Hayward is in. Baez leads the National League in runs batted in, and then the Cubs add to that. They had a lot of their backups. Had Tommy La Stella with a 2-run single, and the Cubs go on to win by the score of 7-2. So how about the Cubs? I know you've been back and forth on Dodgers-Cubs best in the National League. Dodgers have made their move with Machado. Should the Cubs make a move? Do they need to?
Well, I'm telling you what, if there is a move to be made, I look at their rotation. You know, you got guys like John Lester. Hendricks is going to pitch better. Tyler Chatwood is going to pitch better. But to win, you got to have pitching. Yu Darvish is the key. I know they say he's a couple weeks away from coming back. That's right at the trade deadline. They paid this man $126 million, man. I'm telling you, they want to rely on him just like the Los Angeles Dodgers did last year in getting them to the playoffs.
And as you have pointed out, under Joe Madden, the Cubs have been a terrific second-half team, no matter what they have had to work with. All right, we're going to see. We'll be treated to Mike Trout, the two-time most valuable player here with the Astros and Angels coming up. What about Mike Trout? The news during the week came out about, okay, has he done enough to promote baseball, to promote himself? Should he be more visible, not only in baseball, but beyond baseball? I guess the general question is, beyond Southern California, should Mike Trout, why isn't he a bigger star?
Well, I think the easiest answer to that would be he plays on the West Coast. I know that people say that a lot of time, but let's be honest, man. The East Coast media, New York's, Boston, they run the ship. They kind of put you in the right direction. If he would be doing the things he's doing out here in Anaheim, in New York City, come on, Chris, you know this guy would be on billboards all over the place. But at the end of the day, you gotta be you. And there's nothing wrong with Mike Trout. He's the best player we have in the game, and if that's how he wants to be, brother, hey, you be you, baby. You know what I mean? Don't change a bit.
And he's enjoying being himself. And look, Aaron Judge is a quiet guy, and he's getting a lot of attention. He plays in New York in the pinstripes, and winning, certainly getting to a World Series would help Trout. Ohtani in the lineup hitting today, back throwing. Mike Scioscia told me moments ago he expects, if all goes well, that Ohtani will be pitching again this year for the Angels. How would you play him the rest of the way?
Well, you know me, man. I'm very, very outspoken about Ohtani pitching. I'm telling you, man, I know he's a great hitter. I understand that. But if the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels want to continue their success and get to the playoffs, they're going to need to ride his back. They're going to need to ride that right arm, that 100-mile-an-hour fastball. The guy has so much talent on the mound. They need him back there. On the offensive side, they struggled a little bit. But, hey, man, to win, you need pitching.
The game loaded with superstars worth watching. This was fun, Nick. We'll do it again. Baseball Night in America coming up, the game in your area. Angels hosting the Astros, and Mike Trout, whom we've talked about getting a chance to go against Justin Verlander. We're glad you're a part of Baseball Night in America live here on Fox.
In Southern California, as we welcome you to Baseball Night in America. As the game's top stars get together, it's the Angels hosting the Astros. Defending World Series champs, leading the American League West by 5 games over the Seattle Mariners. Hi, everybody. Kenny Albert along with Eric Karros. Astros won the series opener last night 3-1, so the Angels look for some revenge today. And what a treat for us. We get to watch one of the best pitchers in all of baseball against the best player in Major League Baseball.
Well, the World Series champs, the Houston Astros, are dominating again this year. And the whole team changed complexion when they acquired Justin Verlander last year. He's been nothing short of dominant this year. He anchors the best starting staff in all of baseball. You take a look at what the Astros acquired last year on August 31st. right now, he has by far been the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball. You look at that ERA, just above 2. Opponents only hitting 178. And you look at those strikeouts, 253. All those numbers better than any pitcher in Major League Baseball. Are you talking about the best in Major League Baseball? We're looking at him right there, Mike Trout. You look at where he is placed in MVP voting. Top 5 all of those years, and you talk about the company that he is with. When you talk about that, Ted Williams, Yogi Berra, his teammate Albert Pujols, all Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. We get to see the best going against the best.
Trout and Verlander, all-stars on both sides. It's the Astros and the Angels coming up from Anaheim. Baseball Night in America is next on Fox. Three home runs in the Midsummer Classic on Tuesday in our nation's capital from players we will watch and talk about today as the Astros take on the Angels. Houston with a record of 65 and 35. Most wins through 100 games by a defending champ since the '68 Cardinals. George Springer will lead things off, followed by Alex Bregman, then Jose Altuve, Gurriel, Reddick, Gonzalez, Kemp, Stassi, and Tucker as the Astros get set to face a former Houston Astro, 27-year-old right-hander Nick Tropiano, coming off the disabled list, his first start in the Major Leagues, Eric, since June 10th.
And you mentioned just coming off the disabled list. He's spent 2 stints on there this year, both some shoulder tightness. Welcome back. They just need him to eat some innings, and they're welcoming him back in his first start since coming off the disabled list. He's not going to overwhelm you with overpowering stuff. He's got to keep this Astros ball club off balance by moving the ball around, changing speeds.
Drafted by the Astros in 2011, spent 4 years in the Houston system before the trade to the Angels. Time now for tonight's Ford keys to the game.
Houston needs to keep them in the park. The Angels lead all of Major League Baseball in solo home runs. The Angels, they're going to have to play perfect baseball. Although there weren't errors last night, there were some plays that weren't made that allowed or played a role in the Astros scoring their 3 runs.
3-1 Houston victory last night over Mike Scioscia's Angels. We check out the Angels defensively in the outfield from left to right. Upton, Trout, and Calhoun. Around the infield, Valbuena, Kinsler, Simmons, and Fletcher. The battery of Tropiano and Maldonado.
Yeah, very good defensive ball club. But as I mentioned last night, play at first base where a tag wasn't made, and then a sacrifice fly to, of all people, the second baseman.
Set to go here in Anaheim as George Springer will lead things off for the Astros. He'll be followed by Bregman and Altuve in the top of the first inning. Springer and Tropiano, former roommates in the minor leagues. And the first pitch from Tropiano to his ex-roommate is in for a called strike, 0-1.
Probably never thought that they would be facing one another. Probably both had dreams of donning this Astros uniform.
Springer sends this one to deep left field. He already has 5 leadoff home runs this season. And this one is caught by Justin Upton up against the wall.
Day baseball here in Anaheim, and what happens, it continues to carry. You see Upton, he doesn't have a real good beat on it. He's not sure where he is with the wall, but athletic enough to get that glove up there and haul it in. I'm not sure that that would have gone out. But again, not the most fluid of routes, but Upton doing a nice job of sticking with it.
One away. Here's the All-Star Game most valuable player, Alex Bregman. Bregman hit the go-ahead home run in the 10th inning, and then he and Springer went back-to-back. First teammates to do that in an All-Star Game since 1975, Steve Garvey and Jimmy Wynn.
The toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn, a former Astro. What was interesting, Bregman hit a high fastball off of Ross Stripling, and you know, one of the few guys in the big leagues that is a notorious high ball hitter. You know, especially with the way guys are swinging these days, trying to get elevation. A lot of players are now susceptible to that high fastball, not Bregman.
A 1-1 from Tropiano in the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike. Bregman 20 home runs, 64 runs batted in, 6th in the American League. 0 for 4 in last night's game. 2-2.
You know, one of the great things that Bregman has done this year is he's learned the strike zone. He's controlled the strike zone. He's got more walks than strikeouts. Very disciplined.
Ball 3, says first base umpire Ed Hickox.
You know, that discipline has allowed him to be very successful with runners in scoring position, 5th in all of baseball. Very productive.
Payoff pitch from Tropiano. You mentioned more walks than strikeouts, 55 strikeouts. That's the 58th walk of the season for Bregman.
Well, and you see where this pitch is. I mean, a lot of guys are going to offer at that because it is very enticing, but Bregman knows the strike zone so well. That probably a couple inches off the plate at most, but a 3-2 pitch, a lot of guys are going to be aggressive and offer at that.
1 out base runner for the Astros. Here's the reigning American League most valuable player, Jose Altuve. Leads the league in hits. Second in batting average at .331. 5 for 9 lifetime against Tropiano. Strike one.
Well, and you've got this combination of Bregman and Altuve. Both guys close to 400 on base percentage. Dangerous at the plate. Hit the ball out. Squared up. They make pitchers work.
High and tight. 1-1. How about Altuve's career batting average against the Angels? .349.
Not good if you're a member of the Angels pitching staff. And it's interesting because some guys you do well against certain uniforms. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, but the Angels are one of those ball clubs.
That's the best all-time batting average for any player against the Angels in history. Bregman takes his lead off first. 1 out. Top of the first inning as Tropiano throws over once again.
Well, it's almost like he's wanting to throw that off-speed pitch right now. He threw a fastball in on Altuve. That'll open up the outside part of the plate. He's thrown over to first base. I mean, this is screaming splitter or slider on the outside part of the plate right now.
Back in at first is Bregman as Altuve lines out to the shortstop Simmons. 2 away.
Well, Altuve, he squared it up, trying to go away. Looked like that was a fastball. Simmons doing a nice job, catches it and just gets it right back to first. See, this catch is a big part of the plate right there. Simmons, one of the best throwing arms in all of baseball. And those are one of the things right there. Bregman gets back, he extends the inning. It doesn't get doubled up right there. It's excellent base running right now. Now you've got the guy. Granted, Bregman's not in scoring position, but Gurriel, the best in all of baseball with runners in scoring position.
.13-game hit streak for Gurriel. And you're right, with runners in scoring position, a .444 average.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And this is a guy that started off, April was it was not good. Hitting in the mid 200s. But since the last 3 months, it's been great.
There goes Bregman. Tropiano with the flip. That will do it for the Astros. In the top of the first, Angels get set to face the 7-time All-Star, former Cy Young Award winner Justin Verlander. Mark, record of 49 and 49. Cole Calhoun will lead off, followed by Simmons, then Trout. Upton in the cleanup spot. Otani, Kinsler, Valbuena, Maldonado, and Fletcher. Angels face the 35-year-old right-hander. Record of 9 and 5 on the season. A career low earned run average. Justin Verlander.
Well, he's going to come at you with the high fastballs, and the Angels are going to have to lay off of those things because you're not catching up to him. He's got to keep pounding the strike zone. He's been absolutely dynamite this year in his strikeout to walk ratio.
Calhoun swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Back behind third. How about Calhoun's numbers lifetime against Verlander? Only 3 hits and 28 at-bats, 14 strikeouts.
Well, I imagine if you stick with us in this telecast, we're going to see some other numbers that rival that against Verlander. I mean, nobody on this team has any success yet.
Batting against the shift. 1-1.
The Astros, a team that implements the shift as much as any ball club in baseball.
A 1-1 from Verlander. In for a called strike, 1-2. Verlander back on May 16th here, pitched a complete game shutout, defeating the Angels 2-0.
Oh, and you see that good curveball right there. Again, changing eye levels. Fastball up in the zone. That curveball starts up and then just drops down to the knees.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Simmons on deck, then Trout.
Well, Verlander had a bit of a rough outing in his last start against the Tigers. See Mike Trout right there. Gave up 4 home runs, but he also struck out 12.
4 home runs, matched a career high for Verlander. Well, Calhoun now 3 for 29, 15 strikeouts against Justin Verlander. Defensively for the Astros, Tucker, Springer, Reddick in the outfield from left to right. Gurriel, Altuve, Gonzalez, and Bregman. The battery of Verlander and Stassi.
When we talked about they implement this shift quite a bit. You combine that with all the athleticism that they have out there, and it makes for an outstanding defense.
Best defensive team in the American League. Here's Simmons. Fastball in for strike 1. Simmons 3 for 17 lifetime against Verlander.
Well, you talk about great defense. This man is among the top 2 or 3 shortstops in the game when you talk about defense. Simmons having a nice offensive year as well, and one of his best as far as the first half of the season, or I should say up until the All-Star break.
All-Star break a little bit later this year than usual.
Yeah, I mean, some teams well into the mid 90s, high 90s. They get to the All-Star break. You know, you talk about guys that have a certain amount of home runs or strikeouts, and you try and compare that to what guys did in the past up until the All-Star break. And as you mentioned, a little different this year.
The 1-2 from Verlander. Now 2 away as Simmons lines out to Altuve.
Altuve doing a nice job of getting that glove underneath the ball.
Well, the matchup we talked about to start the show moments ago. Verlander and Trout.
Do we have any history there? I think we've got a 2 for 27, if I'm not mistaken. Although those 2 hits, home runs.
Both home runs. We asked Verlander about it yesterday. He was well aware that the only 2 hits he is allowed to Mike Trout left the ballpark.
I'm guessing those were probably fastballs that weren't elevated. Not going to sneak anything by him, waist or below.
There are the numbers, along with 7 strikeouts, 4 walks. 1-2. We'll show you the 2 hits, the 2 home runs for Trout. Off Verlander, 2012. And last season, May 14th.
You saw one was a fastball. That was just a slider that kind of spun up in the zone there. Again, Verlander, just, you know, that fastball and that big curveball, just 2 nasty pitches.
We also asked Verlander about facing a Trout or a Pujols. He said, we're both playing mind games. It's a chess match. We know each other so well, and it just comes down to execution.
Well, again, you know, you're talking about Verlander, Pujols, and Trout, 3 of the, you know, the greatest.
Verlander wins the battle in the bottom of the 1st inning as Trout strikes out. A 1-2-3 first for Verlander. Sponsored by Budweiser. Takes them out to the ball game. Top of the 2nd inning in Anaheim. Kenny Albert, Eric Karros. Astros and Angels are scoreless as Josh Reddick leads off for the Astros against Nick Tropiano. Reddick 2 for 4, drove in a run in last night's game.
Had a big triple. Evan Gattis had drawn a 2-out walk prior to him hitting that triple last night.
Reddick, Gonzalez, and Kemp for the Astros here in the 2nd inning. One from Tropiano, missing away. Tropiano made his first major league start as an Astro back in September of 2014. Beat the Mariners that night. That was his only win with Houston. Traded that November to the Angels for Hank Conger and Carlos Perez. Missed all of last season following Tommy John surgery. Making his 11th start this year. He spent a couple of stints on the disabled list.
Those stints were shoulder related.
Reddick rips this one foul down the right field line. The count is full.
I mean, I know it's his first start, but the hope today is you give him 5-6 innings. then you get to that bullpen. Mike Scioscia can play the bullpen game as well as anybody.
Payoff pitch to Reddick. First strikeout for Tropiano, one away. And for Tropiano, it's his second start against the Astros this year. And by the way, he had to face Verlander the first time as well.
How'd he get so lucky, right? Just a high fastball. Reddick had had some success off Tropiano.
He had been 4 for 9 in his career. So with one away, here's Gonzalez.
You know, Gonzalez was a guy that was so valuable for him last year. You know, spelled a number of positions offensively, was very productive. You know, this year just hasn't been able to get things going. On base percentage of just over 300. You know, I think the difference of strikeouts, 80 strikeouts, 34 walks. As I mentioned, without the production, the home runs, the RBIs.
Gonzalez unable to make the play last night in the 7th inning. Dallas Keuchel no hit the Angels for 6 2/3. Ball hit by Justin Upton. Ruled a base hit. Here's Keuchel. Picked up his 5th straight win.
He was filthy last night. Kept them off balance. And as you mentioned, Gonzalez unable to make that play. And then an inning later, unable to, or really a bad decision. A ball hit to his right and decided to go to third base with it to try to get the runner instead of just taking the out at first.
Gonzalez draws a 1-out walk. Keuchel, tremendous in the first game following the All-Star break, and here's the play in the 7th. Many thought it should have been ruled an error.
Yeah, I mean, probably the only person that didn't think it was an error was the hitter, right? I mean, but that's a big league play right there. As far as, or that's a big league player, you got to make that play. It wasn't like it was a knuckleball, just kind of mistimed his jump.
So Tropiano has allowed a 1-out walk for the 2nd straight inning as Tony Kemp steps in. Gonzalez on at first. Kemp, a left-handed hitter, batting .297 this season in 46 games for the Astros out of Vanderbilt University.
Shoot, Vanderbilt known for all the pitchers they pump out. Walker Buehler over with the Dodgers right now. We Fulmer,
David Price.
Dansby Swanson, I believe, went to Vanderbilt. Shortstop for the Braves.
Pitch gets away from Maldonado, so Gonzalez moves to second.
You know, at the top of the show, we talked about, you know, playing clean baseball, not letting things get away. And in that situation, you know, you hate to say it, but Maldonado a little lazy right there. Instead of, you know, shuffling his feet or just trying to keep the ball in front of him, just sort of kind of backhanded it. But what it does, it allows the runner to get to second base. You know, base hit right here, scores him. You know, these sort of things you cannot do with Houston. You just can't.
Now 2-1 on Kemp, runner in scoring position, 1 out. Top of the 2nd inning in Anaheim. Two-1 from Tropiano. Here comes Trout. He makes the catch to retire Kemp for out number 2.
Nice job by Mike Trout. It's a decent jump and closes in on it. You know, Mike Scioscia telling us that a ball put in play with this with this Angels defense. Now this is as good as any he's had in his tenure as manager here. Very athletic, smart.
Nice block that time by Maldonado. Max Stassi at the plate, batting .259, 2 hits in last night's game. .368 average for Stassi with runners in scoring position. Gonzalez moved to second on a wild pitch. 1-0 from Tropiano. Simmons makes the play to retire the side. Astros strand another runner in the second. By Chevy, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. Bottom of the second, no score. Justin Verlander retired the Angels in order on 14 pitches in the first inning. Justin Upton leads off. 0-1. Upton and Verlander, ex-teammates in Detroit. Justin just 1 for 16. Lifetime against the other Justin.
Yeah, not really a good matchup for any right-handed hitter. That riding fastball, as we mentioned before, that great curveball. You know, and especially since he's come over to the Astros, he's throwing a lot like he did early on in his career. A.J. Hinch telling us he's really abandoned the two-seamer. He's throwing up in the zone, throwing more to the glove side. You know, that's why, or one of the reasons why he's been so successful since he was acquired by the Astros. See him there going with that elevated fastball. And he's got him set up now where he can go with the big curveball down in the zone, or you can entice him, go a little bit higher with that fastball.
Missing low and away, full count.
I think right here you got to look for a fastball up. Probably on the outer part of the plate. Oh no, goes to the curveball.
This is low and away, ball 4. So the Angels with their first base runner. Take you back to the middle of May, right here in Anaheim. A complete game shutout. Verlander allowed 5 base hits, walked only 1, struck out 7. His first complete game shutout as a member of the Houston Astros. Over the last 2 seasons against the Angels, 4 starts, 4 wins. He has allowed 2 earned runs in 31 innings.
A lot of success. The pitching version of Altuve. Altuve having all the success offensively against the Angels, and Verlander recently has had a ton of success against this Angels ball club.
So look at our LG pitcher profile. 4 wins in his last 4 starts against the Angels. Upton back in at first. Shohei Ohtani 0 for 4 in his previous appearance against Verlander. Lays down the bunt, throw to second, and Upton is retired. Ohtani safe at first.
The heck of a pick at second base. Surprising. Verlander decided to go to second base. You know, one of those things is you see that great pick right there. Gonzalez doing a nice job. You know, one of the things you don't ever want to do early in a game is set up a potential big inning. You want to get outs first 5, 6 innings. And right there, you know, he got a little frisky. Verlander did, able to make the play. But if you don't, you've got a situation where you've got runners on first and second.
Terrific play by Gonzalez. Verlander now facing another ex-teammate in Detroit, Ian Kinsler, who takes strike 1. Kinsler 5 for 35 lifetime against Verlander. Seems like every batter that steps to the plate has not fared well.
It's a common theme, right? I mean, and it's not like they're hitting, you know, 220 or 230. We're talking about in the hundreds.
They would take that.
Yeah, Mendoza line is hot.
The 8 Angels in the batting order in this game who have faced Verlander before. 17 hits in 167 at bats. That's a batting average of 102 against Verlander. 102.
You got some decent hitters too in this Angels lineup.
Ohtani on the move. Diving stop by Altuve, but nowhere to go with it. It's an infield single for Kinsler, and the Angels now have 2 on with only 1 out.
Well, and you kind of see what Mike Scioscia is doing right now. You know, now Ohtani may have tried to bunt on his own, but they're trying to make things happen instead of just sitting around waiting for that big bomb. Somebody hitting it out of the park. Right there, looked like it was a hit and run. But again, Mike Scioscia, instead of waiting for something to happen, trying to make something. Do we have any numbers here, Kenny? This just doesn't look like a good matchup to me. Just you got 91 strikeouts with 15 walks. Valbuena does. It's a low ball hitter.
He's 3 for 34.
Okay. So
but has hit a home run off Verlander.
Yeah, well, you know, that was probably a low slider or something. But it just doesn't, it's just not a good matchup here.
17 strikeouts as well. Angels have not yet hit a ball out of the infield in this game, but they have 2 on here in the second inning.
Well, Marty Aronoff pointing out to me that Altuve did a great job at keeping that ball in the infield, thus keeping runners at first and second instead of first and third. So you see, staying up in the zone. Valbuena, a low ball hitter. I think you've got to stay up in the zone one more time, right? Go with your best stuff. Forcing fastball. Yep.
Valbuena strikes out. 2 away, third strikeout for Verlander. Friday at FS1, Toronto welcomes some of the biggest names in basketball for this week's Big 3 battles. The 3-on-3 games begin at 8 Eastern on FS1. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Now 2 away for Martin Maldonado. No hits against Verlander in 6 career at-bats.
I mean, I think I'd take the no hits in 6 at-bats than the 2 for 30 something or 3 for 30. You'd say, well, you know, I'm gonna run into a few here. This isn't a good matchup, though. It's not. It's another one, a high strikeout, not a lot of walk guy.
Maldonado 0 for his last 13 overall this season, not against Verlander. Right. He's only had 6 at-bats against Verlander.
Yeah, you know, you 0 for 6 against Verlander. I mean, in this lineup, that's hot, you know.
Strike 2 to Maldonado.
Gabe Morales giving him that strike in the top part of the zone. Again, if Verlander gets that, he's going to be awfully tough to try to hit. Again, we saw him dispose of Valbuena in 3 pitches. He's got Maldonado down 0-2. And you see that pitch right there. All that does is, you know, it's out of the zone. So if you do make contact, you're going to beat it into the ground. If you don't offer at it, what you have done, at least Verlander's case, you change the eye level. You just looked at something down, so you can come back with it. You can go with a high fastball here.
Maldonado down on strikes. So the Angels strand 2 in the second. George Springer will bat second for the Astros when we return. Youngest fans, we assume, in attendance, will get set to watch the youngest active player in the American League in his first at bat today, and that's Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker, one of the top prospects in the Astros system. This guy can absolutely fly.
21 years of age, Astros minor league player of the year last season, and he rips a base hit into right field, leading off the top of the third inning for Houston.
Not up there waiting around, gets that first pitch fastball and just hammers it into right field. As I mentioned, this guy, exceptional speed.
Tucker had been 0 for his last 13, so he is on with a leadoff single. And now George Springer steps in. Flied out to the wall in left center his first time up.
Almost caught Tucker leaning right there.
Tropiano is a terrific pickoff move. 2 seasons ago, he was second in the American League in pickoffs with 4. Facing his ex-roommate once again. They lived together with a team in Lancaster and high A ball, and then again with Double-A Corpus Christi.
Lancaster, that's out here in Southern California. You mentioned Springer almost got him last at bat. Upton made a nice catch in left field right up against the wall.
Tucker takes his lead off first. Pitch to Springer is in for a called strike. 0-1.
Take a look there. We've got some shadows coming into play right now. You see those between the pitcher and the hitter. We mentioned always tough to decipher spin up at the plate.
Throw down to first. Tucker back in.
Last night the Angels had a runner picked off of first base in the first inning, or at least the ball had beat the runner. George Springer doing that swim move, that head first where he lifts the arm up, and he avoided the tag. Later went on to score in that inning. It was the first inning last night.
Tropiano has already thrown over to first 6 times in this game.
Well, they got the report. Tucker is fast.
Two balls, 1 strike. Nobody out. Top of the third in Anaheim. Astros and Angels scoreless. Leadoff single off the bat of Tucker as Tropiano throws over it yet again. Three and 1.
Now the Angels lead the major leagues in caught stealing percentage. Former catcher Mike Scioscia very proud of that. You know, and that's not just the catchers. It has a lot to do with the pitchers, and even in this situation right now, you know, Tropiano throwing over to first a number of times. anything to mitigate that running game.
There goes Tucker. Ball 4 to Springer. So the Astros now with runners on first and second and nobody out. So with Bregman stepping to the plate, we take you back to Tuesday night in our nation's capital. Back-to-back home runs in the 10th inning to lead the American League to the victory.
The Astros again victimizing a Los Angeles Dodger, just as they did winning that 7th game of the World Series last year. They were able to get to Ross Stripling in the All-Star game.
So here's Bregman. Diving stop by Fletcher. Fires across to retire Bregman, one away. Runners now on second and third.
That's a heck of a play by Fletcher for a number of reasons. The first thing obviously is just making that play, getting to the ball. But the second thing is he had the awareness, and he had already made up in his mind that if he had to move somewhere, he was aware that Tucker at second base, a very fast base runner, he wasn't going to try to go to third. He was just going to get the out. Again, that's knowing what you're going to do with the ball or deciding before the play happens.
Intentional walk to Altuve to load the bases for Gurriel.
So here you're just playing the force out. And again, Altuve, a great hitter, but Gurriel, as we talked earlier, the best in Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. One of the things also that is interesting about it, he's got 81 at-bats with runners in scoring position, only 9 strikeouts.
First pitch, Trout moving to his left, makes the catch. Tucker tags, he will score easily. Astros take a 1-0 lead. Sacrifice fly, RBI number 53 for Yuli Gurriel. So now first and third with 2 outs for Reddick. So Tucker led off the inning with a single to right field. He comes around to score the game's first run. Reddick struck out his first time up. Takes ball 1.
You mentioned Tropiano got him the first time up, but he has had some success against Tropiano. Had the couple hits last night. And with a runner on first, he's got that right side of the infield. He's got that hole. Take a look there. Obviously a big at-bat right here. I know it's only the 3rd inning, but you can't think that you're going to score a ton of runs off of Verlander. 1 run, okay, but you start getting to 2 or 3, and Verlander can get real creative out on the mound.
Verlander has now pitched 19 consecutive scoreless innings in this ballpark. His Astros lead 1-0. First and third, 2 outs. 1-1 the count on Josh Reddick. One and 2.
Maldonado out in front of home plate right now, making sure everybody's aware of who's covering if Altuve decides to run in this situation.
Reddick strikes out to end the inning, but the Astros score a run. They lead the Angels 1-0. Back in Anaheim, David Fletcher leads off for the Angels here in the bottom of the third inning against Justin Verlander. Houston leading 1-0, and we are joined live from the Astros dugout by the manager of the defending world champions, A.J. Hinch, who I guess is now a member of our payroll. He joined Chris Myers and Nick Swisher prior to the game, and now live with us here in the third inning. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes.
Yeah, the check's in the mail, right?
There you go. Fletcher with a base hit into right center. So earlier this week, you were in Washington, managed the American League All-Star team. We talked to you before the game about this as well, but for the viewers, what was the best part about spending those 2-3 days around not only your 6 All-Stars, but the best players from around the American League?
No, I think that's exactly, it captures everything when you think about the names that are in the room. You know, for me as a manager, I stood in front of our team and I look, and there's Judge, and there's Trout, and there's Sale, and there's Kluber, and there's Salvador Perez, who's been to a ton of these. Craig Kimbrell's in the room, Aroldis Chapman. Any name that you recognize in the American League as being elite was in that room, and so you're standing there, just the collection of talent, and then you have the first-timers in Jed Lowry and Jay Happ and Shin-Soo Choo and Charlie Morton that have been decades of playing, a decade of playing in the big leagues or more, making their first-time appearance. So very humbling for me, very, very thankful that we were in the World Series last year, so I got the honor to represent the Astros at the game.
AJ, no hangover at all from winning a world championship last year. Is there anything that you guys can do better?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm the manager, so I can pick holes in our best team. But I think our guys have done a really, really good job of showing up every day, just worried about today, and that the tone is set by the man on the mound, Justin Verlander, Dallas Keuchel last night. You know, Correa and Altuve up the middle, George Springer in center, Josh Reddick's an unheralded hero for us and a leader. And so, you know, Bregman's coming out and having a kind of a coming out party, you know, with his play, and Yuli Gurriel at first and his international experience. We just have a collection of guys that Jeff Luhnow's put together that make us a really, really close-knit group that understands what you got to do to try to win. And that, you know, they always say experience matters, experience plays moving forward, and I'm witnessing that because we got the taste of winning last season. We won it all. We loved how that felt, and we showed up ready to play from day one.
Well, you mentioned that plethora of names, star players. Can you give us an update on Correa?
Yeah, Correa, you know, he's going to be the biggest addition to our team no matter what happens, you know, in July and August. Last year we traded for Justin Verlander. That was a huge deal for our push to the World Series. And when we get Correa back, our team will feel full again because of the presence that he has at shortstop. He's a key part of our guys, and he's doing better and better and better every day. As anybody that's had a little bit of back problems before, until the soreness is out, you can't do much. You can't just swing, and you can't just play defense and dive after balls and slide into second and do all the things that we sometimes take for granted as baseball enthusiasts. So day by day he's getting a little bit better and a little bit better. He's going to have to go out on a rehab assignment, so we're still a little ways away, a couple weeks away from really understand. Until he starts the baseball activities and then gets into the rehab, he'll be shut down. But our team has absorbed the loss. We want him back desperately. He's a big part of our lineup, so when he comes back, our team can get better.
Well, AJ, we really appreciate it. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes, and the check will be in the mail.
You got it, guys. See you next time.
All right, AJ Hinch, the terrific manager of the defending world champs, the Houston Astros, skipper of the American League All-Star team in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday. His club with a 1-0 lead. Leadoff single off the bat of Fletcher. Verlander then struck out Cole Calhoun. Andrelton Simmons at the plate with one away.
Yeah, AJ Hinch, very impressive, having an opportunity to speak with him prior to the game. We spent, it was close to a half hour. And just, you know, the blend of the analytics, the people skills, the understanding of the game, the way he presents himself, you know, not only individually, but as a leader of this Astro ball club. I mean, that actually, you know, I walked out of there, you know, learning some things. And I'll tell you, you know, probably just as he felt at the All-Star game, getting to sit around and listen to guys speak and superstars. You know, I left that room today. Wow.
AJ obviously had nothing better to do than chat with us for a half hour. That might have been a record-setting manager meeting for us, but no, you're right. He's so impressive, and one of the subjects he spoke to us about and shared his thoughts, his transformation as a manager from the time that he spent in Arizona. In his early years, he was not yet 35 years old when he was hired, and some of the things he did and his actions were what he thought a manager was supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, really, to put it succinctly, it all revolved in his ability to communicate. You know, and basically it's evolved to a situation where, you know, now it's what do the players need from me? You know, what do they need from me so they can be successful? You know, where in the past it was, you know, I'm not going to say it was more, you know, of a, you know, a dictatorship, but it was the old school mentality of this is the way it is. You're going to, and not everybody responds to that. And I think that just the fact that he, you know, is always constantly trying to learn and get better, I mean, it's a great reason for his success.
He said he has come to learn that there are different ways to communicate with each and every player on your roster. With some guys, it's a daily text. With others, it's a daily conversation in the middle of the clubhouse. Ground ball to the shortstop, Gonzalez. And the Astros turn to 6-4-3. Double play. 3 innings in the books here at Anaheim. 1-0 Houston. Legendary. This telecast is sponsored by the LG G7 ThinQ. What's it gonna take? And by MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. Kenny Albert, Eric Karros back in Anaheim. Not too far from Hollywood. 1-0 lead for the Astros, as Marwin Gonzalez leads off for Houston against Nick Tropiano. Gonzalez walked back in the second inning. First start back off the disabled list at the major league level for Tropiano. Record of 3-4 this season. Did not pitch at all last year following Tommy John surgery. Career record of 10 and 11. Up the middle, behind the bag. Simmons, one of the best in the business, Eric, as you mentioned earlier, in the field, had trouble with it, and Gonzalez is on for the second time in this game.
Yeah, that ball just looked like it had some top spin on it. Once it hit the dirt, it just kind of shot up on him right there. I don't think he was anticipating it coming up as high as it did. That's what happens when you get in these day games and the sun's been beaten down on the dirt. It's kind of dry right now. Hardens things up.
Sixth error committed by Simmons this season, the three-time Gold Glove Award winner. So now Tony Kemp flies to center. His first time up. Takes a fastball inside for ball one.
Yeah, Kemp hit it well. Mike Trout did a nice job. He got a good break on the ball and able to flag it down. You know, here's another instance though where, you know, the Angels, they've opened the door a bit. You know, Simmons not able to make a play, and not the ball club you want to do that against.
Throw gets away from Valbuena. Moving to second is Gonzalez.
You know, and just as we're speaking right now, you know, Valbuena decides to get involved. You know, those are the things that you just have to clean up. Now I can understand that. I mean, should he have caught it? Absolutely. But it is not easy over there, you know, at first base. The pitchers are quick. They're trying to throw the ball. You don't always pick it up properly, and sometimes you got to move your glove a little bit. And it's not as easy as you think.
Error charge to Valbuena. So two errors in the inning. First Simmons, then Valbuena. Gonzalez now in scoring position.
I remember having a conversation with the Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell. We were in spring training and just kind of spending some time talking. We were talking about the pickoff throws from pitchers. And hey, you know, sometimes can you even believe that you caught the ball?
And now Kemp with a base hit down the right field line. Coming in to score is Gonzalez. So following two Angels errors, Astros take a 2-0 lead.
You know, and that's where that pickoff play, the error on Valbuena, really is magnified right there, because he would have been holding the runner on. So he's sitting right on the line. That ball would have been hit right at him. You know, here that ball's down the line. He can't get to it. And again, the Astros taking advantage of the other team's miscues. We said it at the beginning of the show. Angels are going to have to be perfect if they want to stay with this Astros ball club.
Run scoring double off the bat of Kemp. And now Stassi takes the fastball for strike one.
Stassi, especially when you got a guy like Verlander pitching, you know, this is a time where you would sacrifice yourself to get that runner to third. I know it's early in the game still and you want to play for that big inning, but if you can get Kemp over to third base with one out or less, it's a possible third run. You give 3 runs to Verlander.
In the dirt, blocked by Maldonado.
Nice job by Maldonado there. Not only does he get in front of it, but he deadens the ball as well. Kemp can't take advantage of that. See how he shuffles over there, drops down, keeps everything in front of him.
Kemp the runner on second. Nobody out, top of the 4th inning as time is called. 1 ball, 2 strike count with Max Stassi at the plate. The 1-2 from Tropiano, and Stassi got a piece of it.
In a situation where all you're doing up there at the plate right now is just trying to make contact. Force the Angels defense to have to make a play, give yourself an opportunity to get the runner to third.
Stassi strikes out. 3rd strikeout for Tropiano. 1 away. MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV to take advantage of this special offer. 1 away, here's Kyle Tucker. Single leading off the 3rd inning, came around to score the first Houston run.
Remember, he jumped on the first pitch in his last at-bat.
Swings at the first pitch. 0-1.
Tropiano anticipating that, goes after him with the changeup. Changeup could have been the splitter, throws that as well.
Nothing in 2. Tropiano grew up in New York on Long Island. West Islip, terrific athlete. Pitched in high school, also played 3rd base, was a quarterback, but his passion was baseball. Went on to Stony Brook University. Joe Nathan, the longtime closer in the major leagues, pitched for Stony Brook and made a huge donation. The field is now named after him, where Tropiano played his college ball.
Yeah, Joe Nathan, an excellent reliever for many years. Donated a field, huh?
Donated the field.
You're a good man, Joe Nathan.
One-two to Tucker, and he pops this one into left. Upton is under it. 2 out. Tropiano, similar to many youngsters in the late 90s, early 2000s, growing up in New York, a Yankee fan, and I'll give you one guess as to who his favorite player was.
It was either Jeter or if he's a pitcher, it was Rivera.
It was Jeter. You got it.
Shocker. I'm waiting for somebody to say they grew up a Yankee fan in the 90s and their favorite player was Shane Spencer or something.
You know, I saw Shane Spencer's name on the lineup card today in Mike Scioscia's office. I guess the first game he managed back in 2000 was against the Yankees. I assume it was the first game. It's hanging on Scioscia's wall.
Yep.
Shane Spencer was in the lineup. So either you noticed that as well.
No, that's.
Or
I always think of that
major coincidence.
That's major coincidence. Shane Spencer from San Diego. That's where I grew up.
He got off to a real quick start.
Quick start, but he, didn't have a long career, but was fortunate enough to be on a couple World Series teams.
1-2 on Springer.
Tropiano going with the off speed. I mean, he really has done a nice job of throwing so far. The defense let him down for this one run here.
One-two from Tropiano. He strikes out Springer to end the inning. Astros had a run. It was unearned, and Mike Trout will lead off for the Angels when we return. For the second time of this game, it is Trout against Verlander. Mike Trout struck out back in the first inning. 0-1.
So far, Verlander not messing around with Mike Trout, going right after him with fastballs.
He did not reach base last night. His longest streak in his career, Eric, 2 games as a starter without reaching base. 2 games.
At the big league level. That's what's crazy when you think about it. I mean, just doing that, you know, as an amateur in the minor leagues is crazy. Doing that at the big league level.
Trout now 0 for his last 10. 0 for his last 11 as he strikes out for the second time today. 6th strikeout for Justin Verlander.
Well, so take a look at all these pitches here. There's only 3 of them, and they're all the same. Fastball, fastball. Kenny, I'll let you take this one. Fastball.
That was easy.
I mean, that just tells you what kind of stuff Verlander has. I mean, you're talking about the arguably the greatest player in the game right now, and that was just 3 fastballs right by you.
Fastball to Justin Upton, missing away, ball 1.
And
Upton walked his first time up.
And you see where he's going with all those pitches. You know, he's staying on the glove side of the plate. Verlander is. You know, and that's something that the Astros showed him as far as throwing to that side of the plate, whether you're righty or lefty, or whether he's facing a righty or lefty, that's where he's most effective. You know, and he's taken that information, he's implemented it. You know, and that's where all these analytics, you know, come into play. You know, you can go to the player and say, look, this is your best pitch, or this is where you're most effective, or as a hitter, this is where you make contact the best in the zone. You know, and what you may think is your best pitch or you like throwing the most may not actually play out that way. Verlander, AJ Hinch telling us, you know, for a superstar, for a guy that has accomplished so much, very receptive. And you can see, you know, coming over here to Houston, you know, very different emphasis as far as analytics as compared to Detroit. I mean, he's grabbed that info and just run with it.
Upton with a base hit up the middle. Only his second career hit in 17 at-bats against his ex-teammate Justin Verlander. AJ Hinch told us before the game, as we take another look.
And you see what that is. That's arguably his third best pitch right there. Now, just a little slider right there, kind of spun over the middle part of the plate. You know, and you have to do that once in a while just to show, but I'm sure he's kicking himself right now. If he's going to get beat on that fastball away or that big breaking ball.
So now Ohtani reached on a fielder's choice back in the second inning. Hinch told us that Verlander's preparation is elite. He said it's the best I've ever seen.
Well, and it explains things. You know, everybody goes about preparing certain ways, but you know, he's very analytical. He gets his mindset right. Very prepared. You know, and with, you know, sometimes guys that have the exceptional arm strength or the talent, you know, they get by just on the physicality of the game. But as you continue to improve and continue to move up in the ranks, you know, what's between the ears, arguably more important than the physical part.
.2-0 from Verlander. Ohtani drills this one, and it bounces up against the wall and right. Upton holds it third. It's a two-base hit for Shohei Ohtani. The Angels are threatening here in the fourth, 2 on with 1 out.
So we talk about the mental part of the game. Ohtani ahead in the count, 2-0. You know, he knows that Verlander, you know, what is the book on Ohtani? Let's go in hard with a fastball. Well, 2-0, Ohtani can just sit on it. He can look for one spot. He's looking inside, he gets it, crushes it to right field. I tell you, Astro defense, Reddick did a great job playing this ball off the wall and getting it back in. Again, you got runners on second and third right now. You know, Verlander with Kinsler and Valbuena up at the plate. You know, he can navigate through Kinsler if he doesn't want to really go after him. Valbuena, like I said, 3 pitches his last at bat.
Kinsler with an infield single in his first at bat. Fastball in for strike 1.
You're not going to get many opportunities against Verlander. When you do, you better capitalize. At the very least, you've got to get 1 run out of this situation.
Fouled back, 0-2.
Always pleasant as a hitter to be up there 0-2 against Justin Verlander. You know, now, right, all you're doing is you're spreading out a little bit, you know, just trying to make contact. shoot the ball to right center. You can't get greedy right now. Shorten up that swing. Kinsler very good at putting the ball in play. Only 34 strikeouts.
Verlander missing high, 1 and 2. 99 miles per hour.
I'm about due for the big curveball right here. He just threw a fastball high. He's been going after Kinsler here. Feels like this is the right spot for a curveball. Fastball right by him.
Kinsler strikes out, 2 away, 7 strikeouts for Verlander. Time for a game break. We head north to Los Angeles. Mike Hill. All right, thanks very much, Mike. Game number 2 for Manny Machado in a Dodger uniform.
Valbuena, in his last at bat, 3 fastballs right by him.
Verlander falls behind 2-0 this time. 3 infielders to the right side. Runners on second and third with 2 outs.
Hmm. 97. I'm not sure what Valbuena was looking for. This thing, you know, down in the zone as compared to what he's been throwing to Valbuena right there. You had 2-0. It's almost like you want to cheat right there a little bit.
3-1. Maldonado on deck. Should Valbuena reach? 2-0 Astros. Bottom of the 4th inning. Second and third, 2 outs.
If you're Valbuena, you got to look for that fastball. Look for it about belt high or lower. Be ready to come out of your shoes if it's there. Again, you're in a hitter's count, 3-1. Like I said, you could cheat a little bit. Fastball waist high or below. So see, that's where the anxiousness, the not being disciplined. He gets a fastball, but look where this is, Kenny. I mean, this is chest high. You got no chance. You're a low ball hitter, first of all. You are not touching a high fastball from Verlander. That right there, he used Valbuena's aggressiveness against him.
Payoff pitch. Valbuena strikes out to end the inning. Angels strand runners on second and third. We move to the 5th. Welcome back. Top of the 5th inning. Alex Bregman leads off for the Astros against Nick Tropiano, with Houston leading 2-0. Strike one to Bregman. 0 for 1 with a walk tonight.
A nice job by Bregman again, laying off that pitch that just off the plate. I mean, that's what hitting and pitching, that's what it is. It's just a battle of who can control home plate. The hitters trying to force the pitcher to throw it over the plate. The pitcher's trying to expand the hitter's zone, making them go after pitches off of the plate.
Bounce to the shortstop, Simmons. Bregman is retired, 1 away. So now Altuve, who took Tropiano deep back in late April. It was his first home run of the season. It took 26 games. When they got back to the dugout, Eric, the silent treatment from his teammates.
That's one of the things, too, that this ball club, look, when you win, you have a lot of fun, but some great characters in there, personalities. All get along.
And tremendous players. You have Altuve, who was the American League MVP last year. Springer, the World Series MVP. Bregman named the most valuable player in the All-Star game on Tuesday. And Verlander was the MVP of the American League Championship Series.
Pretty good collection.
How about Altuve's hits to strikeouts ratio compared to the rest of baseball?
God, in this day and age, right? Where strikeouts are so acceptable.
There's never been a full major league season with more strikeouts than hits. Three-1 from Tropiano. Altuve fouls it back.
Do you like this game more with the strikeouts and the home runs? I mean, you've been around.
I guess you like the home run part, right?
I like the home run part.
Not necessarily the strikeouts. It's either all or nothing.
Right, it really is.
Speaking of strikeouts, Altuve down on strikes. Strikeout number 5 for Tropiano.
And Tropiano does a great job. I mean, this pitch right on the corner. Altuve doing his best to try to sell it as a ball. It's a great pitch by Tropiano. Tropiano, you got to tip your hat. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. First start after coming off the disabled list, has to go against his Astros lineup. Look, at the end of the day, too, the Angels are going to have to get some consistency out of the starting pitching. Guy like Tropiano coming back and giving them some innings. That's exciting. The offense, Albert Pujols, he comes back more than likely on Monday. There are some things that this Angels ball club, can look forward to. They've suffered a lot dealing with the disabled list and having to overcome a ton of injuries. I mean, you look at that, 22 players on the disabled list. 29 pitchers used. I mean, it just makes Mike Scioscia's job so difficult.
They hope to have Ohtani back on the mound at some point this season. Mike Scioscia did say yesterday, we do anticipate him pitching for us this year if everything with his rehab goes as planned. He has been medically cleared to begin a throwing progression. He's in the lineup once again today as the designated hitter, and he doubled in the last half inning. Gurriel left field. Justin Upton. Middle of the 5th. Astros continue to lead by 2. Going further, so you can't go any further than the Houston Astros went last year, winning their first World Series championship. They certainly hope to get back. One of 3 teams on pace for well over 100 wins, along with the Red Sox and the Yankees. 0-1 on Maldonado, struck out his first time up. Last 3 starts here for Justin Verlander. 21+ innings, has not allowed a run. That's the longest scoreless streak by an opposing pitcher since our guy Gooby, Mark Gubicza, from 87 through 91. Now a member of the Angels broadcast team, does a terrific job.
He was with the Royals
at the time.
Yeah, he and Brett Saberhagen. Man, those 2 were dynamite.
Another one of our colleagues, David Cohn, came up with those guys through the Royal system back in the mid-'80s.
Made a name for himself with the Mets, though, right? And then later the Yankees. I think he was at the infamous Ed Hearn trade.
He was. It came up during our telecast last week. Ed Hearn and Rick Anderson. A.J. Pierzynski played for Rick Anderson. And he always joked with Rick, you're one of the guys that was traded for David Cohn and went on to win championships and perennial all-star during his years with the Yankees. 9 strikeouts now for Verlander. Fletcher singled his first time up. Talked to Verlander about yet another all-star appearance. He said this one was even more gratifying than the others, following some of the injuries that he's gone through over the last few seasons.
Well, and again, the fact that he's almost, I don't want to say reinvented himself, but he is pitching like he did in his youth. again, a lot of it has to do with the Astros and what they were able to suggest, the information they were able to provide to Justin.
Moving to his right, Gonzalez. Fletcher on for the second time in this game.
Well, Gonzalez does a nice job of getting over there and getting rid of it relatively quickly. It wasn't hit all that hard, so that allowed Fletcher to get a good jump out of the box, and he broke his bat in this situation, I think. It sounded like it.
So the number 9 hitter with 2 of the 5 hits for the Angels tonight. Here's Calhoun, who has struck out twice. 1 out, bottom of the 5th inning. And again, we've mentioned during both previous at-bats, Calhoun's career numbers against Verlander not pretty. Now 3 for 30 with 16 Ks. And we also mentioned the strikeouts to hits ratio around baseball. And Verlander's last start really epitomized what we've seen this season. 12 strikeouts, he allowed 4 home runs. Only the 5th time that's ever happened in history. A pitcher allowing as many as 4 home runs and striking out as many as 12 in one game. Only 5 times.
It's crazy, I mean, when you think about that. You know, but again, Verlander, you know, he is the type of guy that it just doesn't feel like you're going to string 3, 4, 5 hits against. So as a hitter, you're going up there and it's kind of an all or nothing sort of thing. I mean, you're throwing 97, 98 miles an hour, and then you drop an 80-mile-an-hour curveball. You know, differential of 18, 19 miles per hour.
His range in this game from 77 miles per hour up to 99.
I mean, you're talking about 22 miles an hour, and that's, you know, as a pitcher, that's what you're trying to do to a hitter, disrupt the timing. You've got to expect a high fastball here. Head the count 1 and 2. Curveball, wow. I'm locked in today.
Calhoun strikes out for the 3rd time. You sure are. That's 10 strikeouts for Verlander.
I mean, that's the thing. You know, you just threw a curveball, he comes back again, and you know, the sequencing, it's not predictable at all. Stuff's great. I mean, we're at 10 strikeouts. We're not even through 5 yet.
72 pitches to this point.
Jeez.
He's already struck out 10. Simmons 0 for 2, long foul down the right field line. Verlander also only 3 wins from 200 in his career. Only 2 active pitchers already there.
Sabathia, right?
Sabathia, who turns 38 today, so a happy birthday to CeCe.
Who's the
and Bartolo Colon, who is now 45. Verlander only 35. 10 years younger than Colon, 3 years younger than Sabathia.
45.
No.
That's. I tell you right now, Verlander's going to take it to the house well before then.
You think he'll try for 300?
That's 100. I don't know. I mean, you know, there comes a point too where, you know, look at it, just won a World Series last year, and you know, I know that, you know, they mentioned he's starting a family, and
popped up right side. Gurriel in foul territory makes the catch to end the inning. through 5, 10 strikeouts for Justin Verlander. His Astros lead 2-0. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Boost Mobile and by Applebee's. Join in the fight to cure childhood cancer at applebees.com/Alex's Lemonade. We move to the 6th in Anaheim. Kenny Albert, Eric Karros. Nick Tropiano in his first start back from the disabled list gave the Angels 5 innings, 75 pitches. 28-year-old left-hander Jose Alvarez out of the Angels' pen. Tropiano allowed only 1 earned run. Astros have only 2 base hits over the first 5 innings.
Yeah, Tropiano did an exceptional job. Thought maybe he'd go out there for 1 more inning, but Mike Scioscia electing to get him out of there, get him out on a good note. Reddick up at the plate right now. It struck out 2 times previously. Tropiano.
Long run for Upton in the left field corner, and he can't make the play. So a reprieve for Josh Reddick.
Yeah, this ball, from a left-handed hitter, just continuing to drift away from Upton. Not really sure where the wall was in that situation. You see him take a peek at it, and once he does that, he's basically, I'm not saying giving up on the ball, but he's not going to be able to make that play. Never fun as a hitter right there. Ball just tailing in. Reddick doing a nice job of getting out of the way.
2-1 from Alvarez. Reddick with a smash, deep right field. No doubt about this one. So after Upton came close to making the catch in foul territory, Reddick stayed alive at the plate, and he drills his 10th of the season into the stands in right to give the Astros a 3-0 lead.
One of the things as a hitter, especially when you get that pitch up and in, you know that the pitcher's not coming back in there again. 9 out of 10 times a pitcher doesn't want to go back inside. As a hitter, you can almost look out over the plate. This is, again, the Astros score a run, it's not going to be an error in left field, but it's a play that you would like to see made. Astros take advantage of an opportunity presented to them by the Angels.
You mentioned Reddick had struck out twice against the starter Tropiano. Takes Alvarez deep. First batter he faced out of the pen. Alvarez making his major league high 50th appearance of the season for the Angels. Talked about this Angels pen. Starters usually give them only 15, 16 outs. A lot of work for the Angels bullpen this season as Gonzalez singles into left field. So only 2 hits over the first 5 innings against Tropiano. 2 hits here in the 6th off Alvarez.
Well, and Tropiano did such a great job of moving the ball both sides of the plate. When he did miss, he missed just a few inches off, would try to entice these Astros hitters, and then change speeds. I mean, you see right now, this is basically, I'm just coming at you right now. So far, we've seen 2 Astros hitters, and both guys have squared up the ball.
Here's Kemp, doubled in a run his last time up. Home run allowed by Alvarez, only the 3rd in his 50 appearances that he's allowed this season. (3-1) Astros last night. They lead today's game 3-0.
I mean, with the struggles that this Angels offense has had, and going against a guy like Verlander, 3 runs almost feels like that's insurmountable. The irony of it too is the time the Angels have 4 at-bats today with runners in scoring position. All 4 of those at-bats have resulted in strikeouts.
(2-1) from Alvarez to Kemp. Ball 3, now 3-1.
The difference too, Alvarez versus Tropiano. Tropiano, again, he was right around the plate, even on pitches that were called balls. And sometimes he would get Astro hitters to go after those. It's with Alvarez so far. If it's not a strike, it's not that it's close, and the hitter has to make a decision. I mean, that's an easy take right there.
That will be all for Alvarez. Here comes Noe Ramirez from the Angels pen. Alvarez could not retire any of the 3 batters he faced here in the 6th inning. 47th appearance for Ramirez this season.
Well, you see the 66 strikeouts, only 21 walks. You know, he's here right now, obviously. 3-0 ball game. You've got to put things out right now. You're looking for a ground ball or a strikeout.
2 on, nobody out. Stassi at the plate, 0 for 2 tonight. Gonzalez the runner on second. Kemp takes his lead off first. Strike 1 to Max Stassi. Leadoff home run off the bat of Reddick after he nearly fouled out to the left fielder Upton, who was unable to make the play. 2 pitches later, number 10 on the season off the bat of Josh Reddick. The Astros did not hit a home run in last night's game. That ended their streak of 24 consecutive road games with a home run. Second longest streak all time. The A's earlier this season with a home run in 27 consecutive games away from home. One and 2 on Stassi.
Good pitch right there by Ramirez. That breaking ball out of the zone starts on the outer half and it just works its way off the plate. Again, right here, you're looking for that strikeout or ground ball where you give your infielders an opportunity to turn a double play.
A 1-2 from Ramirez, missing low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good miss right there. Stassi, though, a good job of not going after that pitch.
Payoff pitch to Stassi. Ball 4, so the Astros have loaded the bases once again.
Left fielder, number 3, Kyle Tucker.
Gonzalez, Kemp, and Stassi. We have Tucker at the plate. Bases full, no outs. Tucker singled his first time up, came around to score, and then fly to left in the 4th inning. Infield in. First pitch from Ramirez. Ball 1.
Well, if you're Tucker, you're looking for something out over the plate, thinking left center right now. If he comes inside, it's more than likely going to be that slider in off the plate.
The bottom 4 in the Astros order today, Eric, have reached base 7 times in 11 plate appearances. Gonzalez, Kemp, Stassi, and Tucker.
And that's one of the things, you know, you're spending so much time worrying about Springer and Bregman, Altuve. Now you almost got to go right back up there again. Fastball up and in. This is a ball. Tucker liked it. You know, as a hitter right now, you're anxious. You got the bases loaded. You want to drive in those runs. Use that aggressiveness against you. Oh, good pitch.
Tucker strikes out, 1 away. Time for a game break. To Los Angeles we go. Mike Hill.
Center fielder, number 4, George Springer.
All right, thanks, Mike. Red Sox had won 9 of their last 10. Boston with 69 wins. Red Sox, Astros, Yankees all at least 62 victories this season. And then you have the Cubs just under a 600 winning percentage.
And again, though, if you're looking, especially in the American League, nobody has a better starting staff. I think Houston, you know, they match up well with the Yankees. I think that they could, you know, have their way with that ball club. The Red Sox, though, they present a lot of problems. More athletic, have a lot of hitters. You know, starting pitching is relatively decent. You know, at least the first few. See Garrett Cole right there, the Southern California native, former UCLA star, pitched under head coach John Savage over at UCLA.
You have a little bit of knowledge of that program.
Well, he and Trevor Bauer, you know, having a great season with Cleveland. Garrett and Trevor went 1-3 in the first round of the draft. That guy can flat out pitch, and he can compete.
One of 6 Astros named to the American League All-Star team. Longtime Pittsburgh Pirate. Astros have only used 5 starters this entire season.
Right, you only use 5 starters, and those 5 starters are some of the best, right? I mean,
you could have made a case that all 5 are all-stars.
Yeah, you really could have.
3 went. Verlander, Cole, and Morton. Then you have Keuchel, last night's winning pitcher. He's won 5 in a row. McCullers has won 10 for the Astros this season.
Yeah, McCullers has some of the best stuff. Keuchel's pitching as well as any of them in his last few starts.
3-0 to Springer. He fouls it off. Nowhere to put George Springer. Bases loaded with 1 out. And the Astros leading 3-0.
Yeah, Springer trying to put an exclamation point on this game right now. 3-0. Verlander on the hill. You can blow this thing wide open right now with the base hit.
(3-1) from Ramirez. Another foul. Full count.
Springer not getting cheated. That pitch just up in the zone, probably a tad bit high.
Payoff pitch to Springer. Deep left field. Upton back on the track. He looks up. It's gone. A grand slam off the bat of George Springer. His 16th of the season. The Astros now lead 7-0. Pretty good week for George Springer, huh?
Oh my goodness. You know, one of the things A.J. Hinch talked about this Astros ball club is their ability to shine in the big moment. They've been able to do that over the last year and a half in all different types of situations. It hasn't been just one guy. I mean, you remember in the World Series, you know, after the first couple of games, he had really struggled. There was talk about, should you drop him in the lineup? Should you? You know, A.J. Hinch said, no, I'm not changing a thing. And then he goes on to become the World Series MVP. His 5th career Grand Slam.
Now the 5th Grand Slam hit by the Astros this season. And now Bregman is hit by Ramirez.
That's an off-speed pitch right there. He's not trying to get after him at all. Tried to get cute on a 3-2 slider, and that thing just kind of spun up there. Didn't break, didn't do anything. You see him stay back on his back leg. He's fired up.
So that will be all for Ramirez. Taylor Cole out of the Angels' pen following the Springer Grand Slam. 7-0 Astros. Bullpen has imploded here in the 6th in a 1/3 of an inning. 7 batters, 6 have reached base. They've scored 5 runs, 2 home runs, including a Springer Grand Slam.
And remember the way that this inning started off. Josh Reddick hit a ball down the left field line, and Justin Upton did a nice job of getting over there, but just wasn't able to complete the play. Reddick then goes on to hit the home run. And
right, it would have been a tough play for Upton, but you wonder how much different this inning would have progressed. So now Taylor Cole makes his 6th appearance. Made his Angels debut on July 1st. His only previous major league experience came last August for Toronto in a game against the Yankees. Altuve at the plate. Bregman the runner on first. 5 runs in the inning for the Astros. They now lead 7-0. 7 runs on 5 hits for Houston.
Well, that's the thing. The Astros can beat you in so many different ways, right? They can hit the long ball. They're disciplined enough at the plate to draw a walk. They put the bat on the ball. You know, and if you're the Angels right now, you would like to have come out of this All-Star break. You got a 10-game homestand, had to make some noise. You know, you've got this set here with the Astros, and you go White Sox and Mariners. You know, an opportunity to get things going. You go to Tampa, and then I think Cleveland, and you just needed to make a statement. You know, not only do you have to start playing well, speaking about the Angels, but, you know, they put themselves in a situation where, yes, Angels have to play well. Now you got to start hoping other teams don't play well. You know, and I don't know if there's any indication that Oakland is going to change. I mean, it looks like they're making moves. They went after Uris Familia, right? Acquired him today from the Mets. You know, they're going in on this thing. Mariners, Cano should be back pretty soon.
Bregman goes. Ball 4 to Altuve. Against the Mariners, they have 13 games left head-to-head with the Astros.
Right, and you know, so you know where the Astros, where the Angels are, they've got to hope that the Astros just run through the Mariners, which probably will not happen. You know, and even if you go 500, that means you've got to be beaten up on somebody. And irrelevant to how other teams play, the Angels just haven't been consistent at all. Offense has gone away.
Ground ball to the right side. Astros have loaded the bases yet again.
Valbuena does a nice job of getting off the bag, but you see Simmons on the outer part of the base looking for the throw, and Valbuena just kind of throws it across the bag. And nice job there, but then just throws across the bag, and Simmons unable to handle it.
Fielder's choice and an error charged to Valbuena, his second of the game. And now the Angels able to turn two. Reddick started the inning with a home run, ends it by grounding into a double play. There's the long ball, his 10th of the season. And then Springer, grand slam, 7-0 Astros. And when you look at the run support he has received this season, Eric, lowest among the 5 Astros starting pitchers.
Interesting to see what he does right now. Not used to this, and that's the thing about it. When you're pitching in the close games, every pitch matters. The adrenaline's going. You're more intense. You're more focused. And sometimes when these sort of things happen, you've got that 7-0 lead, and you get a little careless. I don't expect to see that from Verlander, and especially when you got a guy like Trout up at the plate. You're going to be focused.
Verlander was just sitting in the dugout for a 26-minute half inning as his teammate scored 5. Fell back to the screen. 1-2. Trout, 2 strikeouts today. Now 2 for 29 lifetime against Justin Verlander.
Well, and Trout, this is his 3rd at bat all 3 times, coming up with nobody on base.
5 hits for the Angels. They've not been able to score a run. The curve missing inside. Now 2-2.
Trout arguably having his best season this year. You see this curveball just off the inner part of the plate. But he's got to have the support of his teammates. The other guys are going to have to start producing, pick up some of the slack.
What do you think of the back and forth this week? The comments by Rob Manfred at the All-Star game, and then the rebuttal by the Angels.
So when you read the comments by Manfred, I think they were taken out of context a bit. Basically all he was saying is, look, if a guy doesn't want to do things, it's tough to market him. That's all. I don't think he was singling out Mike Trout. I mean, how could you? This guy is, if you had to draw somebody up that you wanted your daughter to marry or somebody to be an example for your kids, I mean, this is it. There is no and that's the thing. I don't think, like I said, Rob Manfred wasn't trying to go after Mike Trout, and Mike Trout, the way he handled it just speaks volumes of his character.
Absolutely.
I think there was more of a function of media, making a bigger story or trying to make a story when there was really nothing there.
Terrific column, speaking of the media, written by one of our colleagues, Ken Rosenthal, in The Athletic yesterday on the subject.
That's a paid website. I don't get that, Kenny.
It's only $3 a month.
Times are tough.
Payoff pitch. Another foul off the bat of Trout. And Ken basically wrote what you said, that it was blown out of proportion. Rob Manfred didn't exactly mean it. He's a huge fan of Mike Trout. And Ken suggested that perhaps Major League Baseball put together a promo showing all of the things that Trout does with kids, having catches prior to games, signing autographs.
Or something even humorous, right? I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to do, I mean, you could do so many things with that.
High and tight, ball 4, so Trout on base for the first time tonight. Top 2 in OPS, on base percentage plus slugging percentage, but the Angels under 500 each of the last 2 years, right at the 500 mark this season.
Well, and that's the thing. It's why baseball is so much different than other sports. And you can look at the NBA. One guy can basically carry you to the finals. Here in baseball, you could be the best player in the game, and that doesn't matter.
By the way, we've started a collection cup for your subscription, so you can read Ken Rosenthal's column.
Hey, anything to help Kenny out. He had kids he had to put through school, and I get it.
Upton singled his last time up. 0-2. Ohtani on deck, 7-0. Astros with the lead. Behind Justin Verlander. Looking for his 10th win of the season, number 198 of his career. Upton down on strikes. That is strikeout number 11 for Justin Verlander. No question about who our Gatorade proven performer is here today.
I mean, just going after the hitters, challenging them with a fastball, throwing the breaking ball when he needed to. The Angels put some runners on. What did he do? He just went reared back with a fastball and throwing it right by people. Again, just re-emphasizing why he is one of the top pitchers in the game. I mean, you think about it, you go back to that date, August 31st, you know, any team could have claimed him on waivers. That's what's even crazier. I mean, he, you know, it wasn't a deal done at the trade deadline. I mean, any team in August could have laid claim to him.
And that's the deadline as far as being eligible to pitch in the postseason, August 31st. But you must clear waivers. Of course, teams did not want to necessarily take on his contract.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they would have taken on that. I mean, he's a bargain now.
Former American League MVP, Cy Young Award winner back in 2011. 7-time All-Star. Think back to that Tigers rotation. At one time they had Scherzer, Verlander, Price, Porcello.
You know, and it was incredible. But you remember what all those years, what could they not do? They could not close out the games. But man, yeah, I mean, I'd hate to have been on the opposing team going into Detroit for a Friday, Saturday series and seeing those guys. Jeez.
Ohtani with a line drive into right. Reddick makes the play, 2 away. To Los Angeles for a game break. Take it away, Mike Hill. All right, thanks very much, Mike. 7-0 Astros here in Anaheim. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Ian Kinsler 1 for 2, infield single. Back in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Sixth start with at least 10 strikeouts this season for Verlander. He now has 11. On the ground to the shortstop, Gonzalez. We head to the 7th in Anaheim. 7-0 for Justin Verlander and the Astros. Moment to your favorite devices. Catch it all season with the free MLB.tv Game of the Day. Live radio broadcast, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball. Marwin Gonzalez leads off for the Astros here in the top of the 7th inning against Taylor Cole. Houston sent 10 batters to the plate in the 6th inning, scoring 5 runs on 3 hits, including a George Springer grand slam. Gonzalez has reached base 3 times in this game. He has scored 2 runs, walked, reached on an error, and singled his last time up.
Verlander, you got to figure, is done for the day. Got Joe Smith down in the bullpen right now warming up. But again, if you're Verlander, you're coming off that outing just before the All-Star break where you gave up the 4 home run. You still dominated with the 12 strikeouts, but come back today and throw like you did. And 92 pitches. I mean, he was just electric.
And A.J. Hinch likes to keep his starters in that 90 to 95 range. They've only used 5, and he feels that's how they'll get some rest, by not pitching into the hundreds, although we've seen it, especially from Verlander at times this season. But instead of pushing them back and having extra days off, take some wear and tear off by taking them out of the game maybe an inning earlier than you normally would.
Well, and that's, look at that, that's what teams do these days, right? Your top level teams are gauging for how healthy are we going to be come October, how fresh are we going to be. We're going to monitor innings, build bullpens, let those guys take on some of the work. Looking at the Astros, it's not any secret. They, as well as a number of other teams, see Gonzalez going down. They're all looking for bullpen help. And that's the thing, those next bullpen pieces that are moved, teams are going to pay a hefty price for those types of players just because there's more competition for those types of players. The Manny Machado sweepstakes, they were maybe 4 or 5 teams that were really into it, maybe even fewer than that. But with these bullpen guys, you just can't have enough in your.
You look at the closers for the top teams in the American League. Kimbrel with 31 saves, 26 for Chapman. Diaz 37. Rondon has taken over with the Astros.
And you look at the numbers of the Houston bullpen and you say, man, what do you mean? Why do we have to improve here? But it's not so much that the numbers aren't there, but there isn't that, there isn't that intimidation factor. As a hitter, you're not looking down there going, oh, geez, I really do not want it. There isn't a real uncomfortable at bat. Chapman, that's just not fun. Kimbrel, no good. Diaz has some wipeout pitches. It's almost those guys beat you before they even throw a pitch. And again, Houston guys, to their credit, they've done a great job. They really have, numbers standpoint. But they could get a guy like Britton.
Zach Britton was rumored to potentially go somewhere on a deal with Machado, but he is still a member of the Orioles. Ken Giles, of course, the former closer with the Astros, now in the minor leagues. One-two to Kemp. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I thought it was smart by Baltimore not packaging Britton with Machado, because now again, you've got a number of teams that weren't really that interested in Machado, but they sure as heck would want Zach Britton, and now you can get that into a bidding war. I mean, who can't? You know, of the teams that you're looking at in the postseason, you know, who doesn't need a bullpen piece? I mean, maybe you'd argue the Yankees, but do you add another bullpen piece if you can't get a starter? You know, shorten the game even more.
Ball 4 to Kemp. Cleveland, of course, picking up Brad Hand from San Diego.
Catcher number 12, Max Stassi.
So a 1-out base runner for the Astros, who lead Mike Scioscia's Angels 7-0. As Max Stassi steps to the plate. 0 for 2, walked and scored in the 6th. Ground ball to the shortstop, Simmons. Angels turn 2. 6-4-3 double play. 7th inning stretch time in Anaheim. Yes, it is Saturday night. We approach 7 p.m. here in Southern California. Astros lead the Angels 7-0. Our Budweiser game summary: 23 straight scoreless innings in this ballpark for Justin Verlander. George Springer with his 5th career grand slam, and the Angels batting .137 with 1 run and 18 strikeouts over the first 2 games in this series.
Well, not going to get any easier tomorrow. Here's Joe Smith on for Justin Verlander.
Verlander went 6 through 92 pitches. So now it's the former Angel, the 34-year-old right-hander Smith. 11 strikeouts for Verlander. Smith facing the bottom of the order, Valbuena, who has struck out twice. He's happy to see Verlander out, so are pretty much all of his teammates.
Yeah, Valbuena having a tough day today, obviously at the plate. Made 2 errors out in the field. You know, had come up with runners in scoring position both times.
Shoots this one into right. Reddick is under it. 1 out. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by IBM, let's put smart to work. You know, we were talking about that game back in 2000. You mentioned Shane Spencer. We were in Mike Scioscia's office, lineup card on the wall. It was actually from his third game as Angels manager, his first win over the New York Yankees back on April 5th, 2000. And ironically, Shane Spencer went deep in that game. A 12-6 Angels victory.
Getting a lot of Shane Spencer here in this Saturday telecast.
Yeah, but that lineup
just
card,
as planned, right?
That lineup card up on the wall in Mike Scioscia's office, exactly as planned. Bounce foul off the bat of Maldonado.
God, crazy to think it was 18 years ago. Mike Scioscia at the helm.
Won a championship 2 years later.
Yep.
When Mike Scioscia managed his first game with the Angels, Mike Trout was 8 years old. 8.
Bottom line is it's going to have to come from within for this Angels ball club. You know, they're not going to go out and make any moves. You know, things are going to change. It's, you know, guys coming off the disabled list. And Albert Pujols obviously going to give him a jolt. You know, and hopefully he can stay healthy. You know, he provides a lot of support for Mike Trout. Still a very dangerous hitter. Pitchers still have to be cognizant of Albert. But you get into, you know, guys like Upton and Kinsler, and, you know, Ohtani swung the bat well, but those are the types of guys that are just going to have to, you know, get hot in the second half.
Bregman to first. 2 out. Well, UFC Fight Night is coming your way on a special day and time tomorrow morning on FS1. Catch the action as legendary Shogun Rua takes on Anthony Smith. Plus, Glover Teixeira goes to battle against Corey Anderson. UFC Fight Night on a special day and time tomorrow, 11 Eastern on FS1. Here's David Fletcher with 2 away. Well, enough about Shane Spencer. The first time Eric Karros faced a Mike Scioscia managed Angels club, you went deep.
I didn't see that lineup card in his office.
Off Kent Bottenfield.
Kent Bottenfield.
June 2nd, 2000. Off the fists. Coming out to make the play is Reddick to end the inning. Shane Spencer and Kent Bottenfield mentioned in the same telecast. For the Angels tonight. As we move to the 8th, Astros lead 7-0. 23rd appearance for Drake with 3 different franchises. Dodgers, A's, Tampa Bay for Wilmer Font. Milwaukee, Cleveland, and now the Angels for Oliver Drake. Barry Blash enters the game in left field. Valbuena moves from first to third with Kyle Tucker at the plate. On one hop, Tucker is retired by Fletcher, the new second baseman, who throws it over to Jeffrey Marte, the new first baseman.
I'm going to let you handle all of that, Kenny. It just ruining my scorebook here, having to erase everything and write everybody in. Refer to him as the second baseman, the third baseman.
Tucker grounds out to the second baseman.
There you go.
So here's Springer, grand slam back in the 6th inning, 5th of his career. Ready for this, Eric?
I'm ready.
Springer becomes the 2nd player in Major League history to hit an all-star home run and then a grand slam within the next 2 regular season games.
Okay, so who was it? Happy Johnson in 1928 that did it?
It actually took place in this ballpark in 2006.
Who?
As Springer grounds out. Vladimir Guerrero.
Oh, wow.
2006.
Going into the Hall of Fame.
Next week.
Yes.
So we take you back to that 6th inning. Josh Reddick led the inning off with his 10th of the season. 5 batters later, grand slam. Springer clears the bases. This is the bat. So it was Guerrero in 2006 here off Chad Harville of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time. Springer, the 2nd in Major League history. All-star home run and then a grand slam within the next 2 regular season games. Thanks to our friends at Stats Inc. for that note. There's Bregman, hit by a pitch his last time up. 7-0 Astros. 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Drake covering. He pitches a 1-2-3/8. 3 ground outs, 6 pitches. Still 7-0. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Verizon. Now go mix and match family unlimited plans. And by Wells Fargo, established 1852, reestablished 2018. Angels and Astros wrap up this series tomorrow before the White Sox and Mariners come to town. Get tickets now at Angels.com to see Trout, Ohtani, and Upton at Angel Stadium. Brad Peacock on to pitch the 8th for the Astros, facing Cole Calhoun.
See Peacock used in 38 games so far this year. And what a job he did last year. Filling in a couple different roles. At one time he was the Astros' best starter. Finished a few games in the postseason. And this year, you're talking about he's your 6th or 7th best starting pitcher. That's crazy.
Bregman has moved to second base for the Astros. J.D. Davis enters the game at third, although they're in the shift, so he's not actually anywhere near third base. Calhoun has struck out 3 times. All 3 at bats against Justin Verlander.
That happens. And to his credit, he's been swinging the bat a lot better as of late. Made some adjustments in his stance, getting the ball more elevated, keeping it off the ground. Again, you look at his season numbers, 185. It just goes to show how bad his start was. He came in with a 237 on base percentage. See, when he went on the disabled list, and a lot of that, you put guys on the disabled list, it's more of a mental break than anything. Almost like a reset. But some of the, his start, the way he's performed this year, Zach Kozar getting hurt, not really producing much offensively, Kinsler struggling.
Calhoun draws a leadoff walk, so he's on base for the first time tonight. An exclusive documentary series is coming to Fox. Follow the NFL's #1 draft pick as he navigates his way through the complex world of professional football. All the way up, Baker Mayfield, Part 1, Sunday, July 29th, 3 Eastern on Fox, or stream it on the Fox Sports app. NFL season just around the corner. There's Davis, now at third for the Astros. Jeffrey Marte batting for the first time. Entered the game in the last half inning for the Angels. He took Clayton Kershaw deep last Sunday. That ended an 0 for 17 stretch for Marte. Nothing in 2.
Kenny, you've seen Boston a few times this year. What do you think? Astros, Boston?
I think it's essential that you win that American League East, otherwise you're going to wind up in the wild card game. And right now it's the Red Sox in first place. Began the day with a 5.5 game lead on the Yankees. Imagine that. One of those teams is going to win well over 100 games, and they might have to
go play a
one-game wild card.
You know what? And
it's a race in that game.
It's a great point. And when
This is Davis getting out at second, on to first. Double play, 5-4-3.
So when people talk about 100 wins and they might have to play a wild card, I can tell you there was a San Francisco Giant ball club back in '93, I believe.
Back before the wild card.
Before the won 103 games and got a thank you. Go get some fishing in, guys. So it's like people complain about it now or say, oh boy, you win 100, but shoot, there were times you win 100 games and that was it. Nice season, guys. Go get them. Got the Mike Trout shift going here. Got 3 guys on the left side of the infield. Talked about it. The Astros employ the shift more than any other team in baseball. As you said earlier, you combine that with the athleticism that these guys have, and it's not a lot of fun to try and do anything offensively against them. And this is why it's that whole thing of you've got to elevate the ball. That's where hits are. You've got to elevate it. And that is relevant at the big league level. When you get these little league guys or young kids, I've got to elevate the ball. That's what they do in the big. Well, no, you don't. Not at that level. Because half the time guys can't field it anyhow. Big league level, you hit it on the ground, you're out.
Trout walks for the second time tonight. 2-out base runner for the Angels here in the 8th.
Left fielder number 54,
Jabari Blash batting for the first time.
What, 23 home runs in AAA, I think. He had more than anybody. He's a big man here, just has a lot going on with the hands and a lot of moving parts.
Two hits in 21 at-bats with the Angels this season.
I mean, just not a conventional stance. I mean, you can't argue with the production in AAA, but, look at that. I mean, it just had a lot going on right there.
His 23 home runs were leading the Pacific Coast League when he was called by the Angels.
I watched him last night, and Keuchel just kept him off balance all evening. There's Dallas. And he's really throwing well. That was kind of the guy that you'd look at if you were an opposing team and say, okay, well, at least we got a Keuchel. That's not so much now.
Took a no-hitter into the 7th last night. Called strike 3 to end the inning. We head to the 9th here at Anaheim. For the Astros against Oliver Drake. Davis recalled from AAA yesterday, his third stint with the Astros this season, playing in his 18th game with Houston. Astros lead 7-0. They scored a run in the third, a run in the fourth, broke the game open with 5 in the sixth, including a George Springer grand slam home run. Each team with 5 hits in the game, and it's 7-0.
Well, you meant each team with 5 hits, but you keep on moving down that column on the scoreboard, and you look at errors. Angels 3, Astros none, and then you talk about plays that weren't made, that they're not up on the scoreboard, and the Angels had a few of those.
Then back to the Reddick foul ball. Upton couldn't make the play. He then homered. Astros would load the bases. And Springer connected for his 5th career grand slam, and now Davis flies out to Blash and left, 1 away. Time to take a look at the powerful cleanup hitter sponsored by Swiffer. A 13-game hit streak is on the line as Yuli Gurriel steps to the plate. He has driven in a run tonight with a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd inning.
Well, I think you mentioned it earlier, Kenny, that the top 4 hitters today: Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Gurriel. If I'm looking correctly, 1 hit between the entire group.
That was the grand slam.
Did you say that earlier? Did I miss that?
Well,
was I not listening to you?
Not specifically. I did mention the damage done by the bottom of the order.
Yes, you did. I do recall that. You were looking at me like, look, I already said that.
Not exactly.
Okay.
But it's an excellent point.
And you think about it, it's just like A.J. Hinch was telling us, this is all without Correa, right? I mean, you plug him back in, you got to hope he's healthy. Look at the backs are tricky. You just never know how guys are going to react, what the real situation is. And unless you've had a back issue, you can't even understand how debilitating those things are. And then you talk about trying to play Major League Baseball where everything you do basically is rotational.
Long run for Calhoun. And he can't make the play. Good effort by Cole Calhoun.
Yeah, Cole Calhoun, one of the better defensive outfielders in baseball. Got over there, just off his glove.
Got the uniform dirty.
Got the uni dirty.
2-2 on Gurriel. 1 out, top of the 9th inning. Nice play by Valbuena, who moved over to 3rd, and he throws out Gurriel.
I mean, the hit streak goes down the tubes right there, but that's a heck of a play by Valbuena. It really is. And he didn't even have his footing, but was able to get set, make a good strong throw. I mean, and this is the same guy that's got 2 errors today, right?
2 errors at first. They moved to 3rd. Look what happens.
First is a tough place to play, Kenny.
Here's Reddick. Marte now at first. Kinsler at second. Fletcher at short. Valbuena at 3rd. For those of you scoring at home, we saw Mike Scioscia bring out the lineup card during the last inning when he made wholesale changes.
I got a better question. Who's scoring at home? That's.
We might never find out. Were you scoring at home last night, watching the game, preparing?
Now, I watched your pregame hit, which was outstanding.
Fox Sports West.
Yes, it was. It was good with all the guys. They do a fine job. Frenchie, Jose Mota was there, and Tim Salmon, Mark Gubazaw.
Gave those guys a break for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, you did. And you know what? I did not see you in your blazer. You're usually good for a blazer on those hits, and I did not see it. Saw the sunglasses on the side. You were looking smooth.
I did not see you on the pregame show.
Because I was at home monitoring things.
You were scoring at home.
Yeah.
Three-game series against the Rangers starting July 27th. Get your tickets now at Astros.com to see Altuve, Springer, and All-Star Game MVP Alex Bregman back in Houston. Tony Sipp on to try and close things out for the Astros. Their starter Justin Verlander went 6, did not allow a run on 5 hits, struck out 11 Angels. Ohtani leads off for the Angels here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Tell you what, Ohtani swung the bat well today.
He has doubled off Verlander in the 4th.
Line drive as well to right field.
And he drills this one down the right field line into the corner. Ohtani, and at second with a stand-up double, leading off the bottom of the 9th for the Angels, his second 2-base hit of the game.
On the inner part of the plate, we saw him sit on a Verlander fastball on the inner part of the plate earlier and turn on it. You know, that's the exciting thing for Angels fans, is the way he's hitting the ball and driving it. You know, it's almost as if, look, we'll check on that arm and that pitching in the offseason. We're going to run you out there and you're going to have to hit. I mean, that's a reality too, is they're going to have to hit to get back into this thing. It can't just be Mike Trout, Pujols. You know, Ohtani's been swinging well, but you're going to need other guys. Offensively, they just have been inconsistent as heck.
Here's Ian Kinsler, 1 for 3 tonight. Angels 49 and 49 coming into this game. They have not been under 500 since they lost the season opener. They were 0-1 Last time the Angels have been under the 500 mark this season. Kinsler flies out to Springer. What a way. Great job by our entire crew tonight here in Anaheim, led by our producer Eric Billigmeyer, director Jim Lynch, associate director Paul Marmoreau, broadcast associate Jake Fuller, our technical producer Craig Marlowe, technical director Simon Benazra. Crunching the numbers for us, our statisticians Marty Aronoff, Wayne Fiddleman, along with Dennis D'Agostino, and Ronnie Fisher here in the broadcast booth. 1 out, bottom of the 9th inning. Jose Briseño pinch hitting for Luis Valbuena. Strike one. Briseño batting .297 in 14 games for the Angels this season. Astros entered play today, 5 games ahead of the Mariners in the American League West. Seattle just underway, top of the 2nd inning, scoreless, hosting the Chicago White Sox.
Well, tomorrow the Angels will send Andrew Haney to the mound. Lance McCullers Jr. for the Astros.
Series finale.
Yeah, it just when you're playing the Astros, there's just no room for breathing as far as the starting pitching.
Verlander will become the Astros' 4th 10-game winner. Morton has 11 wins. Cole, McCullers 10 apiece. Verlander 2 outs away from his 10th, and then Keuchel picked up his 8th win last night.
About time Verlander got 10. Geez, everybody else got 10.
Career win number 198.
You know, and it's not where the Astros are just good as far as the starting pitching. Briseño hits that ball to left. You know, they're outside of Keuchel, like none of those guys are comfortable at bats. You know, that's mid-90s stuff. That's great breaking balls. You know, you go back to that Atlanta Braves staff, the 3 Hall of Famers in the 90s, where you had Maddox and Smoltz and Glavine. You take a look here at the Astros starters. You know, those guys outside of Keuchel, you know, those are not, like I said, those aren't comfortable. Those are guys that have some serious arm strength. They've got great breaking stuff, power pitchers. You know, and getting back to trying to compare them to the Braves, look at those guys. Those guys are winners, Hall of Famers, and just dominated. But it wasn't a staff that you went in and said, man, oh man, I don't know how I'm getting a hit off of these guys. And I don't know what was worse, because you kind of felt like, especially with 2 of the guys, Glavine and Maddox, you're like, how am I not hitting these dudes?
Right.
Right? You know, Smoltz was more in line with some of these Astros pitchers, although he liked to stay away. You know, he was notorious for throwing that fastball and slider, just, you know, wearing you out on the outside part of the plate. But those 3 are Hall of Famers, no question. But these guys here with Houston, they bring some intimidation with them.
Maldonado 0 for 3, struck out twice. Runners on first and third, 1 out. 2-2.
Astro defense relatively straight up. First base playing a bit off the bag.
Maldonado falls it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 7-0 Astros. Behind Justin Verlander, who went 6 innings through 92 pitches, did not allow a run on 5 hits, struck out 11. George Springer with a 6th inning grand slam to break the game open.
No, the Angels finally their first hit with a runner in scoring position. Unable to score a run there though. 1 for 6 on the day. You know, I don't know if Houston wins a world championship again this year, but they're definitely a better team. No question, a better team. You know, more experience. You get Verlander for a whole year. You've added Garrett Cole. Front office, Jeff Luhnow done a superb job. You know, and 5 years ago, that group was just getting crushed. But disciplined enough to stay with things. And some great drafts.
Maldonado strikes out, now 2 away. Remaining schedule for A.J. Hinch and the Astros' 6th toughest as far as the opponent's combined winning percentage. Only 17 games of their 61 remaining against teams under the 500 mark. 13 with Seattle.
Well, if there's a team that can handle it, it's the Astros. You know, the thing about them, they're so balanced. And they can beat you in so many different ways. You know, whether it's the offense, whether it's the starting pitching, whether it's the defense, where it's running the bases. You know, you look at some clubs and they're built, you know, just flat out power. Whether it's, you know, in the bullpen or up at the plate. You know, as I look at clubs, I would say Boston is most similar to Houston. You know, in the National League, the Cubs have a lot of depth. The Dodgers have some depth. You know, and if Houston does go out and acquire a reliever, man.
One and 2 on Fletcher. Quiet game for Mike Trout. Couple of strikeouts. Now 0 for his last 11 at the plate. Angels down to their final strike. .65 and 35 over their first 100 games. One strike away from win number 66 for the defending champs. Bounces in the dirt in front of Stassi. 2-2 on Fletcher. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. Fletcher pops it up. Gurriel in foul territory, and that will do it. 4 pitchers combined on the 10th shutout of the season for the Astros. Only the Cubs have more in all of baseball. They win it 7-0.
Well, the Astros continue to show they are one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant team in all of baseball. The run differential, second to none. The great pitching, Justin Verlander leading the staff. The offense, it's Springer, it's Bregman, it's the bottom of the line. It's somebody different, and that's one of the things that separates them from a lot of other ball clubs. You got a plethora of starters in the rotation. You got a ton of guys in the position player, and we're doing all of this, and I say we, the Astros, without Correa. Man, oh man, they are good.
The Astros get out-hit 7-5, yet they defeat the Angels 7-0. Verlander, outstanding. Career win number 198, his 10th this season. George Springer followed up his all-star home run with a grand slam in the 6th inning, 5th of his career. Will return to Anaheim in just a moment following the 7-0 victory for the defending World Series champs, the Houston Astros.